living? What? How you living? What? How you living? What?
And live in color.
Jacqueline Lulu Brown, originally from Bridgeport, Connecticut, now just outside of Atlanta in Stockbridge, Georgia. Wow, from girl to woman, that's interesting. So I'm fondly known as Lulu. I was named after the endearing cartoon character Little Lulu. And there's a phrase in the song that says, "Little Lulu, we love Lulu just the same." And the just the same is because Lulu is a bit of a character. She's noisy, she's loud, she's a busybody, she's always doing the opposite of what most others are doing. And so growing up with being called Lulu, being a very eccentric child, very different, and being in a family that at times didn't know quite what to do with me. Today, you know, we've evolved and people refer to children such as myself as star babies or crystal babies. But back then, I was just Lulu. And moving into womanhood, definitely had a life of what I now reflect on as contradictions, because it's one thing for someone to tell you things are one way, but you witness people living in a different manner. So those contradictions, it was at times a little difficult to make good decisions. So I made a lot of poor decisions along the way. And then there's always that experience where the light bulb goes off and things begin to change and you begin to come out of your girl and move into your woman. So that dark time in my life, probably when I didn't know if I was going to see the rest of my life. I was at a place where I almost lost my life twice. And at the darkest time was the second time. And in that moment, when you're really not sure if this is it, am I gonna make it out of this particular situation alive? And I think that was probably the dark period, because when you don't know if you're gonna make it or you're not gonna make it, or you're gonna get away or you're not gonna get away, it gets pretty dark. How did I come out of it? Actually, it was faith. It was my relationship with God. I literally had to pull on what was down on the inside. I was raised by my grandmother's sister, and I spent a lot of time around that older generation. And then I also had my first husband's parents were ministers, and I had come through learning a lot about having a relationship with God and prayer. And it was at that moment, knowing that I had made these poor choices that got me into the situation that I was in, but it was at that moment that I literally just said to God, you know what? I'm really tired. And I told God in that moment, I wasn't bargaining with him. I said, God, if you get me out of this, I promise you, I will do whatever it is that you've called me to do. And it was in that moment that I made it back home safely. And I have a sister. And I remember taking refuge at her home that night. And she came home. And she was just walking through the room. And she didn't ask me any questions or anything. And in a quiet voice, I said, I'm back. I've come back, and something to the effect that I was no longer running from what God, I had no longer in that place where I had turned and said, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna, live life on my terms. And she just said, okay. And that was that turning point. Now, there's still trials, tribulations. We still make mistakes, make some poor decisions at times. But it was in that time and moment that I knew that I wasn't going back to that place where I was before. And I haven't been back there since. I've made some other mistakes. I've learned, I've had some speed bumps, and I've come through some things, but that particular situation, which was an abusive relationship, I have not been back there again. Hi there, Lulu here from Revolution Ascension. Welcome to the revolution. I teach a class, and in that class, I teach there is no sky, there are no limits, except for the ones that we set for ourselves. So I see the future as probably even before we got to this place where we are now. And it is a place of there is no sky, there are no limits, except for the ones that we set for ourselves. Because we tend to pull on these cliches, the sky is the limit, but our words are powerful. And if we say the sky is the limit, there's always going to be some sky, whatever we defined that sky to be, that we're already telling ourselves there's limits. But if we let ourselves know that there is really no sky and there really aren't any limits, yeah, there's a real sky up there, but this is a mindset. And if we are in a mindset where there really is no sky and there really aren't any limits except for the ones that we define ourselves. So I see us in that place and continuing to go that place. One of the things that is a passion of mine is that I want to see us as we go to that place. I want to see us more reconciled with our men. It's great that we are making the progress that we're making. It's fantastic that we have the careers that we have. But from a family perspective, from legacy, building dynasties, I really would like to see, and this is a really strong passion when it comes to Black women and Black men. I would really love to see us come together more than we are today. We still have some issues that we need to work through, but I would like to see Black women and Black men as families, as couples, as friends, whatever that may look like. I'd like to see us forging this together versus women are progressing, women are taking off. I like to see us as women and men together moving into that place, that the place of greatness that I know we are meant to be. So how am I living in vivid color? I'm living in vivid color by being just me, because I'm allowing the radical, revolutionary pieces that have been put into me. I'm allowing my genius and my brilliance, no matter if someone likes it or if they don't like it, because I've learned that everyone's not gonna agree and everyone is not gonna like everything that everyone says. But I'm created for who I'm created to be. And I am living in that very, very vivid color.